We're going to start with a practice and an experiment. We're going to do some breathing, and the breathing will be a 1-4-2 breathing. And that is when you breathe in, count to 4, hold it to a count of 16, and breathe out to a count of 8. Now, do this at your own pace. So if you're finding difficulty with it, count fast, because it's okay. Then I'll move us through what's called a heart coherence. Let's take a nice deep breath as we move in and breathe into a count of 4, hold it to a count of 16, breathe out to a count of 8, and then repeat that a few times. As you breathe, put your attention on your heart. Feel the air as it flows in to your heart space. Feel the air as it flows out from your heart space. As you breathe into your heart space, bring to mind something that you truly appreciate, something that you're really grateful for. Maybe it's your favorite vacation. Picture yourself standing on that beach with the warm water lapping at your toes, the blue sky, the gentle breeze. Maybe it's a dear pet. Imagine them on your lap or sitting next to you, comforting you. See their eyes. And as you breathe, see if you can feel appreciation. See if you can feel the gratitude well up within you, radiating from your heart space, going out in all directions. With each breath, gratitude. And with a nice, deep, cleansing breath, let us come back to this time in this space, gently opening your eyes and just feeling that presence of gratitude within you as we move through this experience. The 1-4-2 breathing method. It's a pranayama breathing technique used in yoga to help stabilize us and ground us. The heart coherence technique of bringing something that we appreciate to our heart space is a heart math technique, which you can learn more about at heartmath.org from the Heart Math Institute. The intention is to help us reduce stress, help us feel more positive, more focused, create a state of coherence within us, and feel more energized. Think back to your experience before and after. Do you feel a little bit of those things? If you do, raise your hands. Yeah. Now, the question that I have for you was, how difficult was it for you to imagine those things, to imagine the thing that you really appreciated, to see that experience unfold? Just think about it for yourself. And on a scale of 1 to 10, in terms of how easy it was, 10 being piece of cake, if you were a 7 or above, raise your hand. What's interesting is that our human instinct is to do the exact opposite. When we are focused, when we are intentional, we can create that state of consciousness or that state of being, that coherence within us, when we do it with intention. Most of the time, we're not doing it with intention, because our human instinct is to constantly look at the world as if it were a threat. to constantly look at everything that's going on in our life as if it's dangerous, to be aware and ready for that saber-toothed tiger to come jumping out of the woods and to eat us. Anybody seen a saber-toothed tiger recently? No. But there are things in life that are dangerous, and so we keep aware of that. What we don't realize is that our imagination is what kicks in as we move through this process. For we are powerful beings. Do you realize that? I am a powerful being. Would you affirm that with me together? I am a powerful being. We create our life experience through our imagination. Our imagination is one of those faculties, as Charles Fillmore identified it. It's one of our 12 powers, our 12 faculties of mind. That faculty that is always within us, always active. This is the one that we get all excited about, that we create with. And Charles Fillmore defined it as this: imagination is the faculty of mind that imagines and forms. It's the power to shape thought. Through this faculty, we take formless thought and create with it and bring it into form, bring it into manifestation. This is how we operate. The wonderful thing is when we do it intentionally, we get that experience of being grounded and centered in that one presence and one power. We get that feeling of being energized and on purpose. But when we do it unintentionally, all bets are off. Because most of us use our power of imagination to create suffering. We think about the worst case scenario. Just think about whether this is true for you. We might pre-catastrophize somebody or something. I'm going to an event tonight, and oh boy, I can't believe I have to deal with those people, and how am I going to look when I show up? How am I going to act when I'm going to make a fool of myself? We just start going in these circles. Anybody have that experience? You don't have to raise your hands, but yeah, we all have that experience. We create meaning out of things that don't exist because we're so imaginative. I think this is one of the powers that is just constantly churning within us. Let's say you text someone and they don't reply right away. I heard that, especially if it's a loved one, right? Why aren't they texting back? And then we start making up our story about that, right? They're disrespecting me. They don't like me. Why aren't they texting me back? And then we might get indignant and send another text. Anybody ever do that? Oh, so much blue. We just keep texting. Rather than thinking, might there be something else at play here? Have you ever been stressed before something was happening, before an event, before an activity? Oh, good. No one here has been stressed. That's awesome. And when we get stressed, we start to think, I need to control something. I need to be in control. I need to fix something. If everyone be calm, I'm going to be the hero here. We may not even have those words, but our imagination takes off. Our pre-catastrophizing takes off. This is often what I find when I talk to people is running under the surface. There's this constant level of something's going to go wrong. Something's happening. I've got to look for it. And I'm going to start planning for it. I'm going to start thinking about it. Sometimes we use imagination to procrastinate. Sometimes we use imagination to distract ourselves. I know what I need to do, but it's not working for me, and let's think, there's got to be something else. We just think and we imagine some other path. We take a step, like one and done. We take a step in our daily practice. Well, that didn't work. Let's imagine something different and step in a different direction. We're using our imagination in that process to believe that it's not happening for us, or I can't do it, or it's too hard, or nope, this doesn't work. We're all moving through this experience of our imagination. And so our goal here, and one of the practices that is in our book, Presence and Potential by Martha Creek, is to cultivate our imagination. And cultivate it in a very specific way. Recognize when we are pre-catastrophizing. Recognize when we are making up the story about what someone else is thinking or saying or doing. Recognize that we're telling a story. Once we recognize the story, we can question it. Is this true? Can I be absolutely certain that it's true? What else can be true about this? What can I learn from this? How can I grow from this? And when we start questioning that idea, that story that we're creating with our imagination, we have the possibility to reframe it. We resource ourselves. So remember that idea, pause, presence, and proceed? That's one of her techniques. Pause, take some nice deep breaths, use that 1-4-2 method to ground yourself. Take a moment to bring to mind something that you truly appreciate, to presence yourself to that presence within you, that one presence and one power in the universe. To presence yourself to it through gratitude, and then to proceed. That experiment that we did at the beginning is a wonderful practice that you can use to make that pause, presence, and proceed very tangible, very doable, and very effective if we choose to do it. Once we have resourced ourselves, we can reframe the story in our head and move forward. Cultivate your imagination. The next step is hang in there. Hang in there. Listen to this. Martha says, we have a built-in uncommon motivation, perseverance, resilience, an ability to look back when something presents itself and say, how did I do this before? How did I grow through this before? We harbor a capacity within ourselves to say, I am equipped for this regardless of what is presenting in my life. Decide for yourself, I can. And then ask, how can I? And what's possible here? When we run into that first step of that practice, that first daily practice, and say, oh, this is hard, persevere. Keep going forward. What can I do in this situation? What can I learn from this situation? And as we progress and as we proceed, we're building the muscle of it. We're building our spiritual muscle. We're building our spiritual consciousness. We're building our resiliency. So hang in there. Don't distract yourself with more imagination. Keep cultivating that idea and keep moving forward. The third tip, be willing to learn. Be willing to learn. Be a lifelong learner. In his letter to the Romans, the Apostle Paul wrote, do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, that you may prove what is good and what is acceptable and what is perfect, the perfect will of God in you. Be willing. Be willing. Be willing. Don't conform to all of the stress and strain that's going on in our minds. Don't conform to all of the stress and strain that's going on in society, in our culture. Not only are we fighting against our human biology, but we're also fighting against our social structures. We are conditioned to look for fear. We are conditioned by what's wrong. You look in the media, a lot of the media starts off with, here's what's wrong, and here's how we're going to fix it. Here's what's wrong, and here's how we're going to fix it. So we're conditioned over and over again to look at things as if it's wrong and create the story in our life. And if you're going into your own life over and over again, rehashing that story, here's what's wrong with my life, what are you going to experience? What's wrong in your life? You're going to continue that. Life is sometimes messy. Life is sometimes mysterious. Be willing to see life as a mystery. Be willing to see life as a puzzle that we get to put together. Be willing to be curious, to look for the possibility in all of this mess. Not this mess. I'm not pointing at you. In all of that mess. Be willing, be intrigued. Be intrigued by what life has to offer. If you were intrigued by what life has to offer, doesn't that feel a little bit different? I'd rather be intrigued than afraid. I'd rather be interested than push things away. And be willing to learn. Be curious, be intrigued, be willing. Because as we move through life, we're always learning. We're always growing. So embrace that growth in everything that comes before you. Ground yourself in that moment. Cultivate your imagination so that you are bringing to life that you want to experience. Bringing to life that joy, that peace, that strength that is within you so that you can express that into the world, so you can give it shape and form and substance. You can empower yourself with that as you move through life. Let's move to our affirmation. I'm going to read our affirmation once and then invite you to affirm it with me. I am open, present, and willing to learn and grow. I am grateful. Together, I am open, present, and willing to learn and grow. I am grateful. And so it is.